D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick 1025. The game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, and David Janes here with you. We are live at Bridgestone Arena. The Nashville Predators will take on the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers tonight. Puck drop at 7, pregame at 6, right here, as always, on 1025. The game. We've got much to discuss today. Clark Lea, Vanderbilt head football coach, will join us at 4 after the Commodores' blowout win against the Kentucky Wildcats on Saturday. And it all comes down to this. Vanderbilt at Tennessee this weekend. We will be talking a lot about that game over the next few days. Teron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter, will join us at 4:40 instead of the usual 3:40, but we will catch up with our friend TD later in the program. And guys, look, our wonderful city, our beautiful city, we're down bad when it comes to professional sports. Our NFL team is the worst in the league. Mm-hmm. Our NHL team is the worst in the league. And when you are home to two of the worst teams, or the worst teams in their two respective leagues, I should say, you've got to find something. You've got to find anything to feel encouraged about. And although the Tennessee Titans lost yesterday to the Seattle Seahawks, the Titans, by the way, now 1-10. Here's a fun fact for you. The Tennessee Titans are 1-10 or worse for the first time since 1994. Think about how many bad Titans/Oilers teams there have been over the years. But this is the first time since 1994 that the Titans are 1-10 or worse. By the way, in 1994, the Titans started 1-10 and finished 2-14.
That was the year after they were the number one seed in the AFC playoffs. The run and shoot Warren Moon Oilers, who caught fire and then missed the chance in the Astrodome with home field advantage to Joe Montana and the Chiefs. And then that was the very beginning of the NFL salary cap. And it hit hard because basically Warren Moon and everybody left the team and they were left with the scraps. But that was what it all started. The Fisher era started the following year, I think.
So it's been a long time.
Didn't he take over in late 94? I think in the last couple of games of 94, if I remember correctly.
Keegan on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHunting.com, says, Nashville SC fans aren't down bad. That's true.
Here we go with the SC. Congrats to Nashville SC.
You can't forget about them. They are professionals.
I get it.
Major League Soccer.
I get it.
They are a major league team. That is true. But when it comes to the two major league teams in our city, the Titans and the Predators, it's not a good time to be a fan of either of those teams. But you're looking for anything to be encouraged about. And although the Titans lost 30-24 to the Seahawks, hey, the Titans covered. Congratulations. We did see, statistically, the best performance of Cam Ward's young NFL career. He had his highest QBR, 75.1. His previous best was 60.1 against the Texans last week. So his two best performances of the season by QBR have come in the past 2 weeks. He completed 2/3 of his passes, threw for a touchdown, ran for a touchdown.
Hello.
There we go, Willie. That's what you wanted.
That's what I would like to see. We've been asking for it.
So look, we're trying to find anything to feel positive about. And it's not easy. But it appears, I emphasize that word, appears that Cam Ward is beginning to break out. So whether you look at the numbers, whether you look at just what you're watching on TV, I think most, if not all of us, can agree that that was the best performance of Cam Ward's young career. And look, there haven't been too many great ones, so you have to put that into context. But Willie, Derek, at least Cam Ward is showing signs that maybe he can be pretty good.
I mean, this isn't something that, is a revelation to me because of, what he did yesterday. He still has to get better. There are things he still need to do as a quarterback to get better. But this game didn't change my mind on, what I'm thinking about, what I think of Cam Ward. He's shown moments throughout this season that has shown me that he does have what it takes to be that guy. Now, whether he puts it all together, that's up to Cam. But he has those things that we're looking for in a franchise quarterback. Now, elite quarterback and franchise quarterback are two different things to me. So I know everybody wants him to be elite because he was the first pick in the draft, and I get that part. But I also understand that if he's the franchise quarterback, he's still able to lead them where they want to go. He just may need a little bit more help than an elite quarterback. But there's nothing wrong with that because Sam Darnold's not elite. Sam Darnold's a franchise quarterback, but they've surrounded him with good players, and they're continuing to do that. And he's flourishing, whether he was in Minnesota or now in Seattle. From what I've seen, and now Cam has unlocked this other box that we had been waiting on, the box of running. Now he's opened that up. Now what he's done is, now every defensive coordinator from here on out, they're not saying, oh, don't worry about Cam. He can't run. He trips over his own feet. Now they're saying, hey, this kid can run. You better pay attention to him. Now that unlocks another game, and that unlocks a little bit more of what they can do from an offensive standpoint. But nothing he did made me think any different than what I thought prior to the game. I think Cam's going to be a good quarterback. They just need to surround him with individuals that can grow with him. And right now, those individuals that can grow with him, they're young too, and they're trying to figure it out too. And nobody wants to talk about that. They just want to talk about Cam being the number one pick, and he should just elevate everybody. If you got to bet, tell me the last time a number one pick elevated, other than because Andrew Luck, he had a good team. That was a good team he went to. So tell me a guy that went in, number one pick quarterback, that took a bad team like the Titans and took them to the playoffs that first year. You could say Jaden Daniels, but Jaden Daniels had a better team. And he wasn't even the number one pick.
He wasn't the first pick.
And who was the number one? Caleb Williams. He had better talent than Cam Ward. And he couldn't get them. They ain't even sniffed the playoffs. So, to me, what I've seen of Cam is that he's developing, and he's not a finished product. There are things he still need to work on. But I have seen more things that is proven to me that he can be the franchise guy than I've seen that says he's not the franchise guy.
By the way, Andrew Luck in his rookie season had Reggie Wayne and T.Y. Hilton.
Wide
receiver.
You got a Hall of Famer and another guy that was pretty damn good in T.Y. Hilton.
Willie, your thoughts on Cam Ward's performance yesterday?
And look, Andrew Luck was pretty special.
Yeah, and he was damn good.
He was day one. You could tell that guy was good, and he did have a much better supporting cast. It was unusual circumstances why they slipped all the way to get the first pick the year before. We all know the story. So I do think that's the thing. I'm encouraged. I don't want to overblow it because a lot of what he did was after the game was over. They were way behind. And so it is sometimes easier. But they couldn't even do that early in the season when they were falling behind. Have successful drives even in those situations where, the other team is playing the scoreboard, right? They're keeping the clock running. But they're making progress. And I think, as you said, D. Mace, I think it's very noteworthy that he continues to build the chemistry with very young players in DK and Helm. And yes, Mr. Restrepo joins the little club of rookies here. So maybe you build a foundation and then you add the pieces that are really the difference makers with the coming picks that you have. That's what you have to hope for. But I like that Ward is playing what we've been told about him, that he's going to keep working. He's going to keep trying to improve because you're seeing the signs. The running thing is huge to me. Like he's got a better, he looks all of a sudden like he's got a little better feel for how to get out of there. I was wondering if we were going to see that because especially after we had watched Levis never figure it out the entire year last year, how to do that. In fact, it got worse. Like he was running into the rushers a lot of times. That's what it seemed like. And Ward had some of that early in the season. But now I think he's figuring out, look, if I take the hard step, if I know the coverage and I know that area is open, they're playing man, if I can get through that first wave with the right time, with a good explosive step, I can make some plays. And he did right out of the gate yesterday.
Did your throats feel a little sore yesterday? Did you catch the strep?
I was happy
yesterday?
I was happy for the young man.
And we'll get more into Xavier Restrepo. Don't you worry.
He's better than Mason Kinsey.
Exactly. He did better than Mason Kinsey. Mason Kinsey better watch out now. I'm serious. I am dead serious about that. But
it makes you wonder though what took so long. Honestly, I'm not a member of that club, right? But
I don't blame anybody. I don't blame anybody for the Restrepo.
Willie thinks it's fake love. Yeah. Remember that. He thinks it's fake.
Oh, it's all fake love on the internet. Now, if he keeps playing well, all of a sudden you got. I found real love on the internet. I found real love. Not all internet love is fake love. I found real love on the internet.
Yeah.
In real life,
he's a Hallmark movie.
Yeah,
he's a Hallmark movie. There you go.
Okay. Just saying.
Look, we all need stories like that. God knows.
Yes, but look. As I said, Cam Ward's highest QBR of the season. His first game this season without a fumble or interception. You have to mention that as well. He was making great plays on the move. There was that early completion to Chikakonkwo where he was falling down, was able to get the ball out in time, and Chikakonkwo caught the ball. That completion to Xavier Restrepo, that first completion for Xavier Restrepo, Cam Ward evaded pressure, chucked it as he was falling out of bounds, basically over the middle. Restrepo was there. When you look at his pressure to sack percentage in this game, 17.4%, which was his second best total of the season. So he did get sacked, 4 times?
4 times. But it looks like the protection is overall getting a little better. Do we agree? They've had the same guys for the most part. Now, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Moore wasn't in there.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're starting to get a little bit better.
More wasn't in there. I don't know. I think what is happening now, Cam is helping them because his ability to now want to get out the pocket
and get rid of the ball
quickly. And get rid of the ball quickly. And you got to contribute that to Bo Hardegree as well. Like, we're going to get the ball out of your hands as quickly. And if you don't see it, run. Just go. Get us what we can. And he's done a good job at getting down. Again, he's opening up slowly these little sort of nuggets in his game that we've been wondering about. He made he last week he threw the corner route to Chig. That's a route that he needs to continue to work at. Whether he's getting the ball to Restrepo or running the football or checking the football down. He's doing these little things now that helps young quarterbacks to be really good in this league. He's not trying to go from 1 to 10 anymore. He's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's taking the steps now. You can see it because if he doesn't see it, he's either running now or he's running and then he'll see the check down real quick. So he's getting it out of his hands. And Bo Hardegree, I think they've really done a good job. He and McCoy have really done a good job, especially probably during the bye week, at really stressing to him and making him understand this can help the team. There's nothing wrong with running a football. We know you can throw it, but there's nothing wrong with tucking it and running it. Because not only are you helping yourself, you're helping the offensive lineman too. Now they're not sitting in there trying to hold for a long time. You're out of there and you're gone. So he's unlocking these little things in this game that I think Brian Callahan, unfortunately, it wasn't there when he was there. But now all of a sudden, for some reason, now it's starting to sort of trickle out a little bit as far as his game. But again, it doesn't change. I think the kid still has a lot to learn. But I think there's enough there to say if they continue to do the things around him, continue to bring him along slowly, continue to do the things within offenses that are more sort toward his strengths than anything, then I think this kid, he's going to be okay.
To your point, Derek, about the inexperience of Cam Ward's pass catchers, Nick Suss of the Tennessean shared this yesterday. Quote, Cam Ward targeted Chim Dike, Gunnar Hellman, Xavier Restrepo 6+ times each. Not counting strike years, this is only the 3rd time in NFL history that a rookie quarterback has targeted 3+ rookie pass catchers 6 times in the same game.
That's a pretty interesting stat. I mean, that tells you a lot. Hopefully there's more where that came from. Iron Manor didn't even play. That's the interesting thing about it because they have another rookie who presumably would have been targeted a few times. They're also doing this against the last 2 games have been encouraging against good defenses.
Exactly.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah, and so I think it gives you an idea. Like, are they maybe capable of lighting up a lesser team? They are going to get a couple of chances to do that in the coming weeks if they can keep this group together. So, knock on wood. Hopefully, they can keep taking these small strides and stay, with the pace of the tankathon kind of thing. The Raiders and the Browns. Somebody was going to get a win yesterday. So, congratulations to Shador and the Browns.
The Giants let us down. The Giants
they've got it down to a science. Look good for about 3.5 quarters, and everybody's
Jameis Winston was all over the place.
Listen,
he caught the touchdown pass, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Jameis, Jameis to me is the best quarterback in the NFL.
From an entertainment standpoint,
from an entertainment,
he's going to be entertaining.
Listen, if he becomes a free agent, and I think they signed him to a 2-year deal. But if he becomes a free agent, Amy, Borgonzi, Brinker, can y'all please sign this man? Because he's your quintessential backup. He is. He understands where he is in his career. If he starts, great. He's going to make the best of it. He may throw 5 touchdowns. He may throw 5 interceptions. But you're going to get every bit of Jameis Winston, okay? You're going to get him that day. But what I love about Jameis Winston is that he's so encouraging. And that is what a young quarterback needs. He doesn't need somebody that everybody is trying to push or whatnot. He needs somebody that can compete with him, yes. But understand that I'm competing with it. I'm making him better. And if I get the starting job, great. But if I don't, then I'm going to support this young man with every bone in my body. And that is what Jameis went. I'm like, man, hell, I would get him to coach my team, period, man. If it's just to do the motivational speeches, just have him coach my team for that purpose.
615-737-1025. Our phone and text lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We will take your reaction all show long to the Titans' loss to the Seahawks, and more specifically, Cam Ward. Is he beginning to break out? Again, keep it in context. A 75.1 QBR, it's solid. It isn't fantastic. But when you consider how poorly he was playing up until the last couple of weeks, it is a significant step up for him. 615-737-1025. We will continue to take your reaction on the other side. Mondays were made for Macero. Big screens, bold flavors, and all the football action from Queso the Kickoffs. This is how Macero does game night. Macero Football Mondays in 12 South. Don't miss a snap.
I love the way Cam played today. That was, you see the competitor, the ability to make play. I mean, you guys have asked, since day one about him making plays with his feet and the way he moved in the pocket at certain times during the game, and just competed his tail off. And some of the plays that he made, the wow plays, the scrambles, is, I'm sitting there, saying one thing, and next thing you know, here's a big play that he makes. But just, it's taken that next step, and that's what he's done. And we've been saying it from day one, the way he competes, the way he works every day. When we first came in, in the off-season program, the early mornings, staying late, things like that, it's starting to pay off. And, we've said it all along, as a young quarterback in this league, it takes some time, and it's great to see the improvements that he's making week in and week out. And there's the ups and downs. We're going to turn the film on tomorrow and look at some things. We'll clean it up and say, hey, you got to do these things better. But just the command of the offense and some checks that he made during the game, I really like the way he played today.
That was Mike McCoy talking about Cam Ward's performance yesterday against the Seahawks. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan. We are presented by Bax Homeworks, remodeling done right. Get a free estimate at baxhomeworks.com. Let's go to James on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. James, thank you for calling. Please go ahead.
Hey, guys. How's it going today?
Good,
Going
you?
good.
Man, I think Cam Ward done awesome. Last 3 or 4 games, I've just seen such an improvement. Way he stays in the pocket, moves up in the pocket, he scrambles when he can, and making better throws, better decisions. To me, you take the head off of Patrick Mahomes and put Patrick Mahomes' head on his body. They look so much alike. They play alike, but I see a lot of improvement. I think we got a lot to build on with Cam Ward.
Thank you for the call, James.
Thank you, James.
It's dangerous when you mention the M word when it comes to Cam Ward. It's dangerous.
I'm not going to get into what James said. If James believed there was some resemblance of Patrick Mahomes, then I'm not surprised, because it's not like James is the first person that has said this. It has been said.
Mike Borgonzi, of course, made comparisons
months ago. So
Louis Riddick has
done his comparison. So
yes.
Finally, the play is starting to sort of match the talent that you believed he had or has. But yet, still, there are still things he needs to work at as a quarterback. He's not a finished product. By no means is he even close to being that. But he is doing the necessary things, I believe, that gives you a chance to be a damn good player in this league. And that's all you can ask. Now, he has to let, the talent that he has take over. But he's doing all the things that quarterbacks, do in this league that want to be successful.
Bob on our text line says, is it true the Titans have had the toughest schedule and the Patriots the easiest? So last week, we referenced a story from Paul Kaharski at paulkaharski.com. So this was before the games this weekend. So I don't know how much this has changed. But before the games this weekend, Titans opponents, according to Paul Kaharski, had a league-high winning percentage of 569 versus New England at 368. And we went through the caliber of defenses that the Titans have faced. I looked at it by passing EPA per play allowed. The Titans have played the Texans twice, number 1 in that category. They played the Rams, number 2 in that category. The Broncos, number 3 in that category. The Chargers, number 8 in that category. The Patriots, number 9 in that category. The Seahawks are 14th in that category. They played the Colts twice, who are 15th in that category. So a lot of tough defenses. I saw Mina Kimes of ESPN, who is a noted Seahawks fan. She tweeted yesterday that Cam Ward's been playing better against the Seahawks than a lot of veteran quarterbacks. Cam Ward's QBR against the Seahawks yesterday was the 3rd highest against the Seahawks this season. If I recall off the top of my head, the only 2 quarterbacks who performed better by QBR against the Seahawks were Baker Mayfield and Brock Purdy.
Yeah, and with defenses, when you're going against a defense like Seattle's, who's an aggressive defense, and they're bringing blitzes from just about everywhere. And it seemed like they even announced it seemed like they're blitzing a little bit more against Cam. And even throughout all of that, he still found ways to keep the offense going. Not every time, but on key drives that they had to make, especially during the end, he was able to sift through all that along with the offensive line's help, but he was able to sift through all that and still make the necessary throws that he needed to make or tuck it and run. So when you're going, see, the issue is this: if he would have not, performed the way he performed, and the way he performed wasn't great, it was good. There's still a lot of meat left on the bone. But had he not, performed that way, it would have been seen as a negative. Like, oh, he couldn't do this against, not knowing that this is one of the best defenses in the National Football League. You realize that, right? One of the best pass secondaries in the National Football League. You realize that, right? But he goes out there and he performs, and there's always still this but. And I even texted y'all yesterday. That slant he completed, where was his elbow? His elbow was down.
I wanted you to
and
bring that
throw
up.
it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. It's like quarterbacks are going to do that. Those are things that he's still working at. So when he does it from time to time, don't make it a minus. Don't blame him.
We shouldn't nitpick.
Exactly.
Right?
Don't
it's not going to be
nitpick at
perfect.
it. It's not. No quarterback, even Patrick Mahomes, he's not perfect.
But that's why I
when you
want
talk
to
about your mechanics and stuff.
I've always thought that this has been the question, even from training camp, and I think we're getting our answer. Is does he need to just break himself of that habit, the different arm angles, right? Because he's still doing it. He had one that almost got picked up. He almost had a big man interception on the one where he telegraphed it a little bit. The defensive end clearly had seen something on film. He jumped the route.
It was a bad play.
He didn't look, and he almost got burned. That was interception worthy. But it looks like they're going to keep allowing him to be free to use the different arm angles. The question is he going to get better at it as he gets more experience, knowing how to do it? Will the game slow down, etc.?
Chris on our text line says, just last week, D-Mays was talking about how he didn't want Cam Ward running like Jackson Dart, and now he is saying he wants Cam to run. Which one is it?
Oh, my goodness, people. Oh, man. People listening is really key in this world. Like, listen to everything. Don't just half of this and half of that. I don't want him like, have you seen Jackson Dart running? Have y'all seen Jackson? He runs like Will Levis. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's just, because he's a big fella, and he's hurt now. What have I said about Cam? I want him to run more if it's there, but get down. Be careful. You want a quarterback to go out there and do what it takes to win football games.
But not be reckless.
But not be reckless. So, again, Texter, I don't want him to be like Jackson Dart, because Jackson Dart's sitting on the bench right now because he's hurt, because he hadn't figured out how to run in this league. So, yes, I want Cam to protect himself, and I want him, like I said last week, hey, if it's there, take it, but get down. I don't want him sitting in the pocket and taking sacks.
This is sports talk show, people.
Exactly. So
nuanced discussion. It's not hot takes.
Exactly.
It's not run 50 times or never run. Nuanced discussion, people.
You got to know when to run.
Grasp the concept. It's not about hot air. Hot takes. Discussion.
Yeah,
thank you.
Discussing it.
I'm off my soapbox.
There you go.
Speaking of hot takes, one texter, Ward 1-10, Shador Sanders 1-0, December 7th. December 7th.
I knew that was coming today. Who did I told my son yesterday. I said, "You watch. There's going to be somebody tomorrow that says Shador Sanders has as many wins as Cam Ward."
December 7th. We'll see if the Titans made the right choice.
Do it. So thank you to whoever that was.
Yes.
Yes.
Made my day.
Oh man,
sort
of. One commenter on our YouTube chat says, one thing I want to point out: Ward is much better on his deep and mid accuracy when he throws left and partially or fully across his body, which is usually a weakness for most quarterbacks. It's his strength. LOL.
Well, I mean, I think he does, and I've said this. I think he does with slants. I think he does have slight problem with throwing from right to left, at least that slant, because he's put a few, whether it's receiver fault, I don't know. But there have been two situations where he's thrown it behind a guy, and both of them have been intercepted, I believe, this season. He just needs to work at that. He's good throwing it to his left. I think he is. Those corner routes, he has to get better. He just, because those are the routes those are big play routes. Those are routes that you're going to get from time to time in the National Football League, especially when they do these high and lows. And if you get enough time, you're going to find you complete more of those passes if you work on them than not. And those are the ones that he needs to work on, those deep corner routes. That middle of the route, I mean, the kid can he can throw in the middle of the football field just as good as any young quarterback out there. He just has to, the anticipation with he and his receivers, there have been so many receivers in and out, him getting that rhythm and feeling comfortable with that guy running down the middle, the one he hit Restrepo on. I mean, as soon as Restrepo cleared that safety or that backer right there, the ball was on his chest. That's what Cam, he thrives at those tight throws like that, especially down the middle of the field.
We talked about this last week, looking at his accuracy depending on the depth of the pass and where the pass is going. Outside left, 20-plus yards, so deep outside left. He's 5 for 12 on the season. Intermediate outside left, so between 10 and 19. He's 7 for 18 on the season. Outside right, 20-plus, 3 of 14 on the season. Outside right, intermediate, 10 of 25.
That tells you that right side, he hasn't had.
He's 13 for 39. I think that's right, 13 for 39 when passing outside the numbers on the right sideline, 10-plus yards or more.
That's where he needs to get better at. Those are the NFL throws that we talked about. If you listen to announcers during the college games and you see those deep intermediate or out routes that they run and they throw, and you hear them every time, that's a big time NFL throw. Why? Because those routes are so deep and take long to develop. You got to make sure, and you're throwing it a lot of times in between zone coverage. So you gotta worry about the underneath guy, and then also you got to worry about the guy either on him or on top of him. So you got to fit in that hole. And when you could throw those balls consistently, those are what you call big time NFL throws.
You know what's interesting? This is all setting the table. I think there are a couple of intriguing games. The schedule, we talked about how tough the defenses have been. The strength of schedule is especially for a team that had the first pick in the draft last year. They won 3 games. You're supposed to have an easy schedule the next year. They've got a ridiculously tough schedule, but there are a couple of teams that I would like to see if they can put up like really big, really good, efficient numbers. It doesn't have to be 500 yards or anything like that. But if you could have just good, efficient numbers and score a few more touchdowns when you do have a break in the schedule, that would be another good marker, because hopefully playing the tough competition will help him in the long run. But so much has been made. Like, the Patriots went right to the wire with the Bengals, who aren't very good. The Patriots are 10-2, but they've had some very easy.
They play some close games,
but their schedule is the softest that you can get.
And they've taken advantage of it. And listen, Drake May has been pretty good. So.
That's all you can do is play your schedule. And I know it's a sensitive subject, I think, for the Patriots. They are 10-2. They're not going to apologize.
No.
But for a team that the perception of a team that has the first pick in the draft is you're supposed to have an easy schedule the next year. That's not the case. It's the opposite.
The Titans host the Jaguars on Sunday at Nissan Stadium. The 7-4 Jaguars. Jaguars minus 6.5 is the line I'm looking at the moment.
In overtime, it was a tightrope block. It was your typical Arizona Cardinals game that was just full of twists and turns. The Jags had, I think, a return touchdown. They had a pick six that was, it had everything. It went to OT.
615-737-1025. We'll continue to take your reaction on the Titans' loss to the Seahawks and Cam Ward's performance, his encouraging performance yesterday at Nissan Stadium. But coming up next, before we get to Clark Lea, let's talk about how Vanderbilt laid the smackdown on the Kentucky Wildcats and Diego Pavia strengthening his Heisman Trophy case. We'll do that next. 615-737-1025. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning is having a coat drive tomorrow from 3 to 6 p.m. at the Seven Cedars Butcher Block on the Lebanon Square. They will be collecting new or gently used coats and jackets, and those will go to Lebanon's needy families.
Diego, how much have you improved as a passer the past year plus?
Yeah, well, a lot of people didn't think I could pass, and you check these last 3 games out when they let me throw it, it speaks for itself. But yeah, I just want the NFL to know too, like I'm NFL ready, and I want my chance just like everyone has their chance. And I could do anything. I feel like I'm the best player in college football right now.
Diego Pavia, ladies and gentlemen.
Numbers don't lie.
And when you have a game like Diego Pavia did on Saturday against the Kentucky Wildcats, you can say that. 33 for 39 passing, 484 yards, the most in Vanderbilt history in a single game, 5 touchdown passes, plus 15 carries for 48 rushing yards and 1 touchdown.
Also, they took him out with 10 minutes to go. They could have padded the stats.
I thought they were.
It could have gotten up to 500.
I need to ask Clark about that because, listen, I know I get it's a team thing, and I know Clark explained it to Diego when he was on the sideline.
Yeah.
I get it. I would have probably did the same thing as a coach too. Like, hey, no, it's the team.
Well, Kentucky was also frustrated. They had taken some really dumb penalties. Exactly. They were taking some cheap shots.
Yeah, they started at the end.
That was that I thought was the reason
they did it. Yeah. So, but there has to be that moment where you got the game where you think like, man, okay, Vanderbilt, we've never been in this position again. We've never had a player of this caliber, not this good, because they've had a bunch of really good players at Vandy, but a guy with this much energy and gravitas and just he's everything he says he is. So we need to help reward this guy. We need to make sure that the stats are up there when it comes Heisman time.
There were plenty of style points.
Yes.
In Vanderbilt's win against Kentucky. By the way, Diego Pavia's passed 3 games. He's completed 77.3% of his passes. He's thrown for 1,226 yards. He has 11 passing touchdowns, 1 interception, 47 carries, 203 rushing yards, and 3 touchdowns.
You stack
those are against SEC games too. Those are not non-league games.
You stack his numbers up against any quarterback that they consider Heisman Trophy worthy, and his numbers trump them from this standpoint. His rushing numbers. He has played more of a complete quarterback in today's game. I'm talking than any other quarterback out there, probably other than Marcel Reed, maybe. But has Marcel Reed ran like Diego?
He can run.
He can run. I know, but I haven't watched many games. But what Diego has been doing, both through the air and running the football, man, I'm not saying that he should win. Like, no doubt he should win. But there's no doubt he should be in New York.
I will be disappointed if he's not in New York. Now, there's still one game, right? He needs to play well in that game. Mm-hmm. To me, if they win that game, it will be a crime if he's not in New York as a finalist, in my mind. A crime.
No, you're right.
I think because the numbers are now coming around, and I would say, you guys know this because you guys watch him every week. I don't know if the voters in other parts of the country who are just seeing it from afar, they know the persona, they've probably seen the clips, but Vanderbilt is a ball control, milk the clock team, or at least they had been until the last couple of weeks when they played in some more up-tempo games or they needed to go up-tempo. Because he's showing you that the numbers are going to come around when they play more possessions. The more possessions and plays you run, the more numbers you're going to get. But a lot of the games that they play, they're literally trying to have the least amount of possessions that you can have. Their defense is more bend but don't break, and their offense is run the play clock literally down to 2 or 1 seconds. And so his efficiency is off the charts. And the intangibles of what he does to elevate the team around him, that should be worth something. So to me, he's the full package for a worthy Heisman candidate. I'm not saying he should be the winner, but and look, if he has a dud on Saturday, that will affect things, right? It's your last impression, really, for the voters.
By the way, as of this morning, Diego Pavia is plus 600 to win the Heisman Trophy. That's 4th behind Fernando Mendoza at minus 130, Jeremiah Love at plus 425, and Julian Sayin at plus 425.
Julian's saying, look, he's very good. He's surrounded by All-Americans. I don't, whatever you want to. He's surrounded by great. That wide receiver, Jeremiah Smith. He's unbelievable.
Yes.
You-
I mean, he got two first. He's playing with 2 first-round wide receivers, no doubt. They both will get drafted in the top 15, probably in the top 10.
He has Bo Jackson, the running back.
Exactly. Has Bo Jackson.
It's not not that Bo Jackson, but the guy's pretty good.
They are littered with talent. They are littered.
Right.
It's like an Alabama quarterback back in the day when they had Julio and all those guys. It was just littered with talent.
I don't want to shortchange. He's a very good player. Julian saying is very good. We're going to find out how good in the playoffs, right? That's what it's about for that program. But look, you cannot tell me that there aren't 10 quarterbacks that could have Ohio State undefeated right now. Maybe 20 with their team, their defense. Am I wrong?
Well,
Is he the guy that's the reason they're winning? No. He's very, very good, but it's a machine. That's a machine. He should not be in the conversation to me. Now, the kid for Indiana, look, that's got a Heisman story behind it. I'm on board for him. But how many people do they take to New York?
I think
it was only 3,
maybe 4.
Did they take 4 or 3?
They take 4.
They take 4. Okay, so that gives them a little better chance in there. So it's tracking that way. If the odds makers know what are the odds makers polling privately the voters? I don't know. What do they do?
I would just like him to be there. I don't know if he's going to win, but I think he deserves
to be in New York,
depending on what happens on Saturday. And look, there are already people in the text line getting ready for the game on Saturday. Ricky on our text line says, "Oh my God, here it comes, the Vandy Slob Fest." When the segment started. Caleb on our YouTube chat said, all that to lose next week. And look,
it has to. That's a big part of this.
Yes.
We're going to get into this matchup. Vanderbilt at Tennessee, 2:30 p.m., Neyland Stadium on Saturday. We are going to get into that game over the course of the week. The line that I'm looking at right now is Tennessee -2.5. But it'll be interesting. You have 2 of the top 10 scoring offenses in the country playing in this game. Vanderbilt slightly better in terms of scoring defense. Could be a lot of fireworks. Diego Pavia is on record saying he thinks that Vanderbilt can run the state. Well,
here's your opportunity.
This is your opportunity. We will get more into that. But if Diego Pavia shows out as he did on Saturday in this win and you're possibly in game for the college football playoff on Saturday, you probably need to book his ticket to New York City by then.
Yeah, I think if he goes out and perform well, and I mean, if he goes out and perform well, no matter a win or a loss, I think he has earned the right to be in New York as one of the 4, regardless if they win or lose. If he plays well, if he plays like he has played in previous weeks, but if they win, I mean, there's no doubt. And he plays well. There's no doubt that I think his odds go up to win. And then obviously he's there. But I think his odds to win the Heisman goes up if he performs well against UT and they win.
So many times the Heisman, you look at the bright lights on, especially for a guy like Sayin.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State has been an overwhelming favorite in what?
All their games.
Almost every one of their games.
Except for
Texas. I don't know what the average is. Vanderbilt is an underdog this week. Vanderbilt was an underdog against Virginia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
They were an underdog against South Carolina. Certainly they were underdogs against Alabama and Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of other games. Have they been a home dog? I think they were a slight favorite against LSU, maybe close to a pick 'em. Maybe a point or two.
They were a favorite versus LSU.
But you see what I'm saying? Yeah. It's the degree of difficulty, but just going by the odds makers of what he does for his team, what's on the line each week for his team. Julian Sayin has a bad week against Rutgers, against Purdue. They're still going to win by 3 touchdowns, right? It's not the same kind of thing. So Julian Sayin, to me, that's not a Heisman guy. But I've seen guys win the Heisman. Gino Toretto won the Heisman.
Exactly.
Because he was on Miami, and they had NFL guys everywhere. Gino Toretto was not that great. He's not the reason they're winning, but the voters like, oh, yeah, the quarterback from Miami. Yeah, let's see. He's the Heisman. Come on, man. That's what I hope the voters take a look at. Take a look deep into the numbers. You will see it goes beyond the charisma of what Pavia is doing. It is every play. Everything goes through him, intangibly, but also tangibly.
What you need to do is you need to talk to our man Rexroad, who I believe is a Heisman Trophy voter, and have him spread the word. So you got to get in Rexroad's ear. It's all up to you, Rexroad, if you're listening.
The narrative.
Let's go to Lance in Clarksville on our phone
That's a
line.
great idea. Hold on, I need to call Joe.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Let's go to our
Joe
phone
knows.
line.
Joe knows
Lance in-
what's going on.
Yes,
Joe knows.
Lance in Clarksville. Lance, thank you for calling. Please go ahead.
Give me Joe's number. I'll call him.
He's on the air from 6 to 9.
Yes, call him
Just
tomorrow.
get up early tomorrow.
Yes.
Give him
I'll
a shout.
call him tomorrow.
Okay, good.
No, I was going to say, if you took Diego and put him at Ohio State, and you took their quarterback and put him at Vanderbilt, the guy from Ohio State would not do as good as Pavia did with Vanderbilt as Pavia's done. And he's supposed to be the best player. You got to look upon also the fact of their teammates, as y'all said a while ago. Pavia would win at Ohio State. Pavia wins here. He's the player. It's the player. It's a vote for a player, not a team. And not everybody around him does he make the team better. And that's what you have to say. And to those Tennessee fans, you better be scared if they're only 2.5-point dogs, because Pavia is worth 10. So you better be scared, because he's going to go there and spank your little orange and white butt.
Thank you for the call, Lance. Coach Willie.
Yes,
Coach Willie does not like that.
I did cringe a little bit there as he said that, but I do think it's worth pointing out. Remember early in the season, and Tennessee is a very good team. Tennessee was impressive on Saturday. They look good. They trounced Florida.
First
At
win in
Florida.
the swamp in more than 20
So
years.
they're going to come in feeling pretty good, and they're going to have this attitude of, oh, Diego Pavia, let him have all the talk. We're going to be quiet. That's what I think we're going to see from Knoxville. They're going to sit back and be confident, say, just come on in, and let's see what you all got, right? Vanderbilt's not sneaking up on Tennessee.
Oh, no, not at all.
They're not going to sneak up on them. But I did ask the question early in the season. You remember when I did it to Chad, to Jonathan Hutton, to you guys. What do you think the line would be?
Yeah.
Vanderbilt at Tennessee. And I think I heard some 10, 7.5, 8.5.
2.5.
2.5. It's 2.5.
It's really a pick 'em, honestly, because it's at UT and it's 2.5. You really supposed to get 3 points.
Neal
really.
Stadium means something. Right?
Exactly.
I mean, that
It
place is
means
going to be a
something.
hornet's
Exactly.
nest. There's no question.
615-737-1025. We'll take your reaction to Vanderbilt's win against Kentucky on Saturday. Vanderbilt head football coach Clark Lea will join us coming up next. We'll talk to him about the win against Kentucky and look ahead to the pivotal matchup, the critical matchup against Tennessee this weekend. We'll do that with Clark Lea coming up next. 615-737-1025. We are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. D. Mace, Vingan, and Donick, 102.5 The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, and David Janes here with you. Vanderbilt wins 45-17 against Kentucky to wrap up its home schedule for the regular season. A gigantic matchup coming up this weekend. Vanderbilt at Tennessee. And to help us talk about all of it, we'll go to our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com and welcome in Vanderbilt head football coach Clark Lea. Hi, Clark. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are y'all doing?
We're doing well. Thank you for asking. So I know that there have been a lot of program milestones this season, and I know that you are focused on the here and now. You will take time, I'm sure, to appreciate everything your team has accomplished once the season is over. But I do want to ask you about one milestone that did happen this past weekend. The Commodores' first undefeated home schedule since 1982. So where would you place that one, an undefeated home schedule, 7-0 at First Bank Stadium this season?
Honestly, Adam, I was hoping that you would kind of go through all the accomplishments. I usually use this call to kind of boost my confidence a little bit. You guys always seem to.
Well, unfortunately, if I did that, we
appreciate
wouldn't have time for you to answer all of the questions. So,
no, obviously that's really meaningful. That's that's a team effort, literally. And I told the seniors and I told the team, I mean, they're resetting expectations around our program. And so as Team 5 becomes Team 6, there's this understanding that we don't lose at home, and that becomes a part of, a core part of our identity. And that's where you start talking about the legacy of the team, the legacy of a group of seniors that have left this program better than they found it. So very meaningful, and very grateful to the staff and the team for the hard work they put in to make that happen, and also grateful for our Vanderbilt community, our Nashville community that showed up and helped make First State Stadium an advantage for us this year.
Diego Pavia had another program record performance on Saturday, nearly 500 passing yards, and I did get a chuckle after the game. I believe it was our very own Joe Rexroad who asked Diego Pavia, how much have you improved as a passer since coming to Vanderbilt? And he smiled and said, a lot of people didn't think I could pass. And look, the numbers speak for themselves, but I'll ask you the same question that Joe asked Diego Pavia after the game. How much has Diego Pavia improved as a passer since joining your program?
I think just like any competitor that iterates, he's tight in this process. The game's slower for him, and he's strengthened in a lot of areas. I also think we've strengthened around him too, and that's helped him unlock his potential. And those are all positive things, but the credit goes to Diego. The credit goes to him for, the work he's put in, for how humble he is in his process, and for taking ownership over his improvement, and obviously delivering a Heisman-worthy, season to this point. I mean, I think there's so much to appreciate about what he's done.
We'll talk with Vanderbilt's head football coach Clark Lea coming off their big victory against Kentucky. Now, Coach, what was the conversation? Because, I'm watching it on television, and the announcers are talking a lot about Diego and his stats, and they're talking about the Heisman and everything else. What is the conversation like with Diego toward the end when you decided to pull him from the game? Now, Willie did remind me there was some chippiness out there, some things that were happening a little bit late with Kentucky that you probably wanted to protect your quarterback from. But knowing everything that he's done this season, and it's been a team thing, but in that moment where, he could pad the stats a little bit and it would help him in the Heisman, what is that conversation like with him on the sideline when you chose to take him out the game?
Well, I tried to take him out a series before, and I lost that fight. It was everything you're saying. I thought the point in the game, it felt obviously out of reach. I thought it was time to think about getting Blaze some meaningful snaps, and also, taking care of Diego for this final game and for everything after. And yet, he wanted one more chance to go out there. And, I was talking about how we were going to send him out and then bring him out of the huddle so he could have a chance to share the moment with our fans and people that have watched him play. And he said, "Coach, I'm not done. Give me one more series." And I said, "No." And he said, "Please." I said, "No." He said, "Please" again. And at that point, I thought, he doesn't ask for much. And how can I not honor his desire to go back out there? So after that series, I think he understood that it was time to turn the page, get Blaze out there, focus on what was next. And obviously a really cool moment he was able to share with our fans as he exited the game at First Bank Field for the last time.
Now, another individual that really played a big part in Saturday's win, Trey Richardson. This young man seems to be getting better each and every week. Over the last 2 weeks, he's had 9 catches, close to 200 yards, and 4 touchdowns. What does he mean to this offense and his ability to be explosive?
Well, it means a lot. I mean, he's been able to get behind pretty much every defense we played this year. And I think he and Diego are really finding some real chemistry here late in the season. And so Trey's he's a great team member. He's a really smart football player, a super human being. And it's been really neat to see him settle in here and really get his career jump started. He took a wayward path to get to us, but he's really solidifying himself as a key team member, and I'm really happy for him and the success he's having.
Clark Lea is with us. Vanderbilt at Tennessee coming up on Saturday. Clark, after the bye week, and we had discussed it a lot with you last week, what you wanted to see from the defense. How did you think they responded? You got some takeaways. Obviously, the numbers were better.
I thought they set a tone for us in the game, to be honest with you. I was really proud of them. I was proud of the staff, proud of the players. I challenged them. They challenged each other. I thought they had great work during the bye week and then great work in the week of practice. And it showed up for them on Saturday. And, you talked about the first 5 possessions Kentucky came without points. The 6th possession was a short field where they got a 3-and-out that ended in a field goal attempt. I think over 200 of their total yards came in the fourth quarter when we were, playing guys that were kind of down the bench and getting guys great game experience and getting some seniors out on the field that deserved the chance to end their career having played snaps in a game. And I'm very proud of them. And obviously they got a huge challenge ahead of them this week with this Tennessee offense. But I thought the Kentucky game was a great game to get our feet back in the ground, to get some confidence, to get organized so that we can hopefully have our best effort this Saturday.
One thing we've talked about with trying to put some context behind Diego's value is you guys have been a lower tempo team for a lot of the year. And part of the funny part about Diego saying you guys didn't think I could pass, that kind of thing. You guys have gone with a little bit more tempo here, sometimes out of necessity. But does it almost there's only so much you can do, right? You can't take time out of your week to lobby for your guy as a Heisman guy. But I feel like his numbers are even more valuable because you guys don't run as many plays as some teams run.
You're right. I mean, and all he's done the last 3 weeks where we needed to use tempo, obviously against Kentucky, it became part of our strategy. He's gone for over 300 yards every game. I mean, he's been incredible here late in the season. And I think, again, what you find out about a Heisman contender is, can they play the entirety of the season impacting winning? Well, he's done that. And you can look at the way he's affected our games here. I mean, without his production in that Auburn game, we can't find a way back in. We can't claw back in that game against Texas. Again, we get within a field goal of that game because of his performance. And anytime you talk about him, you're talking about the offense as a whole. But now we're speaking specifically about an individual award, and it goes to the best football player in the country. And I just don't think you can have a conversation about that without talking about Diego Pavia. And I could have this conversation all day. I think just if you look at the games, you look at the statistics, you look at how he's impacted winning, I think our team performance also strengthens his bid. I mean, this is a team that's positioned for a playoff run, and all the chips are on the table here in the last game of the season, and our success is his success. So I'm hoping that the right people are paying attention. I'm hoping that he gets the opportunity to represent our program in New York, and I know he's excited to close the season out here and to do it in a way that impacts the winning effort. And so he deserves all the credit. He deserves all the attention. He's such a humble and grateful worker, and we're super proud of him.
Tempo is going to be such a big thing on Saturday. You guys have shown the way you guys can influence tempo in your way. We certainly know how Tennessee influences tempo the way they play. So how important will that facet be on Saturday?
Well, it'll be huge. I think the question is whose defense will step up in the right moment to force field goal attempts and to force turnovers and to force stops. I mean, it's going to be a game of generating stops, and both sides are playing really well offensively. I think they may have, in terms of points per game, I think they may have the number one offense in the conference, and we're number two. So this is a chance for some offensive fireworks, but I'm going to look to the defense side of the ball and say who can outperform who, and how do we create an advantage on that side on our end. That'll be the focus, and it'll be a team effort. But obviously, for Willie, you strike me as an offensive guy, and I know D. Mace is. I don't quite have a read on Adam yet, but this has a chance for some offensive fireworks for sure.
So, what do you think as you watch Tennessee on Saturday? It was an impressive win for them. We know their history at Florida wasn't good, so that's got to give them some good confidence boost. What are they doing really well right now?
Well, they have identity. I mean, I think as for as much as attention is paid to their passing game, they get a lot of mileage out of their run game. Their running backs are playing really well. I think they're really physical at the offensive line. Their tight ends are among the best we've played this year, both as receivers, but also as point of attack blockers. I think they're really good. And just like any Tennessee offense that we've come to know from Josh Heupel, I mean, this is at any moment they can go up and over the top, so it's like handling a grenade with the pin pulled every snap. You gotta be physical in the run wall, inside out, outside in. You got to be disciplined on the perimeter with your eyes and taking space. If you chase the play down, it's going to be a long afternoon. And so with the tempo element of getting the call in, getting our eyes in the right place, and taking ground before the ball leaves the quarterback's hand will be really important to our success. If we can get them off schedule, find a way to that third down stop, critical. Obviously, when the field shrinks in the red zone, 25 and in, we need to be really good on defense.
Now, Coach, you and maybe you haven't had time, because after your game, I'm sure you spent time with family and then trying to get back into the game plan as quickly as possible. But have you had a moment to kind of sit down and really think about what this game means? Obviously, it's the last game of the season and it's UT, but it's different. It's not like any other game you go into with UT. This is, like you said, hey, listen, if we do what we need to do, then we put ourselves in an opportunity. We put ourselves in a position with an opportunity to go to college football playoffs. It hadn't been that way since I've been here, and I've been here since 1997. So is it a little bit different than it has been in previous years, this matchup?
Well, yes, to answer your question, it's different. I think my challenge is not actually trying to inflate the emotions around the game, but really just challenge the guys to channel the emotion into focus and to let that focus lead to execution. Also to enjoy it, to actually take time to enjoy what we've created, this moment that is so meaningful to us, and let's not let it pass by without really soaking it up. And that means every part of it. I mean, this is the best Monday I've ever had in my coaching career because of this week. Tomorrow will be the best Tuesday. I'm gonna take time to enjoy every single moment of this. We're gonna make sure we're being again humble in preparation. And on Saturday, in a tough environment, we're gonna enjoy being out there together and fighting for what we want. I think that these opportunities only come around so often. So I I don't want anyone to let it pass us by.
Clark, can you remember the first Vanderbilt Tennessee game you ever watched growing up?
God, there's a couple. I can't remember the first one I've ever watched, but I do remember like some of those years with Peyton Manning. I like those were kind of the first where I was really paying attention, really understood the magnitude of the rivalry and that kind of stuff. But I mean, look, I grew up. My dad went to Vanderbilt. We were always fans. So I mean, I've been watching this game probably since I was out of the womb. I mean, I'm pretty sure that I watched it as an infant.
But the first ones you remember when Peyton Manning was quarterbacking?
Yeah, Peyton. I guess that would have been,
mid-'90s.
Well, no, that's not true, Willie, because Heath Schuler. I mean, I remember Heath was before Peyton, I think. I remember some of those games, too. So it goes back before Peyton.
Clark, before we let you go, Willie has an alter ego, Coach Willie. He's a one game at a time kind of guy. And I know that Coach Willie, you know how much Willie loves Vanderbilt. Coach Willie is going to be on pins and needles all week long. Do you have any words of encouragement for Coach Willie before you go?
Well, I mean, Coach Willie, honestly, I think Coach Willie needs to be giving me the words of encouragement. How do you see the matchup, Willie? I mean, I didn't realize you had Coach in front of your name. Otherwise, I would have been asking for your advice all year.
Well, see, Coach Willie likes to reel in some of the craziness that happens on a sports talk show and try to bring it back to the center, right? Good or bad. That's Coach Willie's role. I will let my guard down and be an alter ego at times, but I think you've got it covered, Clark. And by the way, Clark, I got the book. I'm reading the book that you sent me, and it is awesome. Thank you for that.
Oh man, my pleasure. Hey, by the way, on Saturday, Willie, is your attention divided? Do you got?
Oh my gosh,
we solely focus on Tennessee.
The Preds have I've got the 2:30 schedule down. Clark, you guys have had a couple of 2:30 games. It's some pretty dramatic ones, right? So I've got my routine. I get here really early to Bridgestone Arena.
Mm-hmm.
I hook up the computer and the phone, get it on, and our broadcast site's usually pretty quiet, so I can watch a good piece of the game before we focus in. But so I would like you guys to have it, if possible, have it wrapped up by about 6 o'clock or so I can focus on the 7 o'clock start.
Be ahead by at least 4 touchdowns.
Don't worry about that. I'll take a 1-point win. Just wrap it up by about 6:05 for the 7 o'clock Predators Jets start.
We'll be running the ball.
Okay.
Clark Lea has been our guest on D. Mace Bing and the Donick. He joins us every week during college football season. Clark, thank you as always for your time, and good luck on Saturday at Tennessee.
Always good to be with you guys. Take care.
2:30 p.m. Vanderbilt at Tennessee, Neyland Stadium. Tennessee favored at the moment by 2.5. 615-737-1025. We'll continue the college football conversation coming up next, because a coach in another power conference had some things to say about the SEC. And we'll discuss that coming up next. 615-737-1025. Speaking of the Commodores, you can come out and root on Vanderbilt football this Saturday with 1025 The Game at Germantown Pub, located at 708 Monroe Street in Nashville, starting at 2 p.m. Win great prizes and cheer for Vanderbilt as they take on the Tennessee Volunteers this Saturday at Germantown Pub.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 Chief Meteorologist Katie Morgan. Rain arrives as we head into the evening and the overnight, and will remain rainy through the afternoon on Tuesday. Windy conditions as well. Gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour possible, with a high near 70.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
All right, let's tell you about F&M Bank. Banking made easy on purpose. More Take It to the Bank coming up on Friday. We had some fun over the weekend with how Cam Ward would do with the rushing yards and what was going to happen with Vanderbilt, all kinds of stuff. We have a lot of fun thanks to our relationship with F&M Bank. And what F&M Bank wants to do is take a lot of the burden of your everyday finances. It can be stressful. We all know that. You go through different stages in your life, and you got questions that come up. And you don't want those to be stressful. You want those questions to be answered with confidence and know that you've got somebody whose business means a lot to them. And that's F&M Bank. Their business is all situated on being in the middle of your hometown, whether that's Mount Juliet, Springfield, West End in Nashville, where you've got somebody you can contact if you've got a question. They've got tools to help you as well. Just go to myfmbank.com, find the nearest location to you, and you'll find that they're in your backyard. myfmbank.com. We take it to the bank Friday at 5:45. It's F&M Bank, member FDIC.
how would you hope that the committee or the rest of the country sees and views this Oregon team?
Well, we just played a really good team. We beat them. And a lot of times we play really good teams, they become unranked all of a sudden. That's not our fault, right? Maybe it is our fault. But all we're worried about is playing the teams that we play and doing the job that we need to do. And we did that job today, right? I think proof's in the pudding, right? Played a good team. We beat them, right? All we can do next week is try to do the same thing, right? And this conference is a really good conference. It's competitive, right? We didn't play Chattanooga State today, right? Like some other places, right? We competed. So, that being said, it's tough playing 9 conference games. It's tough playing in this league. And we got to take advantage of playing a good team today and attacking that.
That was Oregon coach Dan Lanning after the Ducks defeated USC 42-27 over the weekend. Not Chattanooga State. And to Dan Lanning's, not really credit, but to his point, you look at some of the teams SEC teams played this weekend. Texas A&M played Samford. Georgia played Charlotte. Alabama played Eastern Illinois. SoCon Saturday is what I think it's called. But Dan Lanning said, we didn't play Chattanooga State today. I thought you guys would find that interesting.
Man, Dan Lanning just needs to stop, man. He just and listen, I mean, he's not even a Big Ten guy. I can at least say I am a Big Ten guy. He's just Big Ten guy by happenstance.
He's cosplaying as a Big Ten guy.
Happenstance. He's a Big Ten guy. He didn't. It's like, man, stop it, man. Listen, your schedule, like you said, your schedule is what it is. Yeah, y'all do play 9 games, but I would ask Oregon and Dan Lanning, do you want to flip spots? Do you want to go play in the SEC? Or do you want to stay in the Big Ten? Which one do you really want to do? Do you want to stay in the Big Ten where you can you at least know you're going to have an opportunity, more likely than not, you're going to be in the running for a playoff spot? Or you go to the SEC, and even at 10-2, you still got problems. 9-3, you definitely not getting in. So this is just, I guess, his way of sort of, trying to make sure his team doesn't get forgotten. Oregon is going to make they're going to make it, especially if they get to the Big Ten championship game. If they lose to Ohio State, it'll be counted for them, not against them. So if they just handle business at the end of the season, who they play? Washington. Now, Washington might as well be Chattanooga. They play Washington at the end of the year. You beat Washington, no matter what you do, as long as you don't get your tail beat in the Big Ten championship game, you are in. This is just his way of trying to position himself within the college football playoffs.
They likely won't be in the championship game. It would be Indiana and Ohio State, right?
Yeah, you're right.
But they played Montana State the first game. Like, they did schedule a game like that. Now, Montana State's a good program, but, like, let's not act like they're not playing a non-conference game that's a softie.
The Ducks are 10-1. Their most impressive win before taking down then number 21 Iowa on the road last week, and USC on Saturday was an overtime road win against Penn State. And we saw what's happened with Penn State.
Now that's a really interesting test of the, hey, Penn State wasn't ranked, or Penn State's not a ranked team. That's not today. That is not a win against a ranked team. But that was a big win in a hostile environment in overtime. So there has to be some human factoring in of how big that game was. Like, I'm giving Oregon credit for that.
Yeah,
it was a great game. But at the time, Penn State was ranked 3rd in the country, and that meant everything. So that was a big win. So this is again to try to equate like Vanderbilt's win early at South Carolina. So you could hear Oregon's coach referencing, well, teams were ranked when we played them. Maybe we have something to do with why they're not ranked now.
But that's not.
So how do you factor that in? Penn State's collapse, right? But when they beat Penn State was still feeling like a national title contender. Just like when Vanderbilt crushed South Carolina thought they had a Heisman Trophy candidate at quarterback and their best team in years.
Let's go to Bob on our phone line, driven by Wilson County, Hyundai.com. Bob, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. It's going to be a long way to get to a question. So I'm an Alabama fan. Since I live in Tennessee, I pull for Vandy and UT. And since Vandy's got more to play for, I want Vandy to win this week. So if that happens, Josh Heupel loses, they're going to be calling for his job, which I think is an absolute joke. Now, here's my question. At the beginning of the year, when Nico left, everybody was like, if we did 8-5, that'd be good. It'd be a pass. So my question is, do you think UT would be the same, a better record, or a worse record if Nico had been here?
Thank you for the call, Bob. It's an interesting question, and we talked about this with all of the Iamali drama, right? If Tennessee goes 8-4 this season, how are Vols fans going to feel? And in the immediate aftermath, I feel like a lot of Vols fans would say, we're saying, yeah, we'll take that. Josh Heupel stood on business, as Derek Mason likes to say. He stood on business. Get Nico out of here. 8-4, that's okay. Now that we're in the season, who knows? But let's.
I can only give you my perspective from the outside. I think early on, it just shows you how things flip, right? I think that was the question early on: is do you give them a little bit of a pass, Tennessee, for what happened with the quarterback situation? But ironically, I think just about every Tennessee fan, I could be wrong, and I would love for a Tennessee fan to tell me if I'm wrong, they got the better of the swap, right? Would anybody dispute that? Joey Aguilar is a better college quarterback than Nico has been and has been this year, right?
No, you're right. He's had some good games, one against my Spartans. But I think.
But they're 3-8. They're 3-8.
Yeah,
they had that little the nightmare start, and then he got better for a couple games. But what have they really done?
Yeah, I don't think
they came out ahead.
You know what? Aguilar should be thanking Nico that
It's funny how that works out.
Exactly, because I think Aguilar would have had the same production Nico has now with UCLA. I think it would look the same. They still would have been a bad team, and he would have been trying to navigate. And the only problem with him, that would have been his last year, I believe. Nico still has a year left, I think, a year or two.
But I could be missing something. When he says they might be calling for his job if they lose this game, Josh Heupel, I don't think that's true.
I hope not.
I
hope
calling for his job.
Fan base. I hope the fan base ain't calling.
If they
for
lose
his
this
job.
game, no way.
Let's go to Tyler on our phone line. Tyler, thank you for the call. Please go ahead.
Hey guys, yeah, fantastic interview with Clark and Willie. It's just so great to have someone who knows what we've been through as a fan base for so many years, and you can hear the excitement and joy. As he said, this is going to be the best Monday of his coaching career, and just thought that was a fantastic interview. As somebody who was in the stadium on Saturday and has been at every game this season, it's nice of Clark to shout out the fans who have been there. I know other SEC fans like to give us Vandy fans a lot of grief because there's not many of us, but the ones who have suffered throughout the year, it's just nice to have a coach who appreciates what we've done and the little tug with Diego there to us. It was such a nice nod. I mean, it'd be great if we did in the CFP and are able to finish the job on Saturday against Tennessee. But if not, how much do you think this will elevate the program moving forward? And I'll hang up.
Thank you for the call, Tyler.
I think you're seeing some of the residuals, right? With if what the reports are saying end up coming to fruition about
Jared Curtis.
Jared Curtis would be the crown jewel of that. Just they're getting momentum. They're getting people that have never been interested. It says a lot that it's a kid from Nashville, right? There was a time where if there was a superstar player from Nashville, that player was 99% certain to be looking past Vanderbilt.
So has he decommitted?
No.
From Texas?
No. Everything is unofficial.
There's
heavy speculation.
Okay.
Just heavy speculation that he will flip when it's signing day from Georgia to Vanderbilt. But it's not till it's over. It's over. But that's one thing. But I think what I want to emphasize is what the caller just pointed out is that was a big moment. Finish off an undefeated season, but it was a college atmosphere. I didn't get to go. My son was there. Everybody, all my friends over there. It felt like a big moment, and they were able to deliver a big moment for Diego Pavia in a full stadium with a lot of your fans going berserk. They couldn't have done that before. Like even James Franklin's teams, they had a lot of juice and momentum. They were doing great, but they couldn't fill it. They couldn't have a moment like that. Very, very rarely. Maybe when they beat Tennessee, but not week in and week out. It's been just a fun ride.
615-737-1025. We'll take your thoughts on Vanderbilt, Tennessee, the college football playoff landscape. We'll take all of your thoughts. 615-737-1025. But coming up next, we'll switch gears. We'll go back to the Titans. Teron Davenport, ESPN, NFL Nation, Titans reporter, will join us. We'll get his thoughts on Cam Ward's performance against the Seahawks yesterday. Teron Davenport coming up next, 615-737-1025. We are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. D. Mace, Vingan, and Donick 102.5. The Game, Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you. Max Hers being a nuisance.
The peanut gallery is speaking up.
Max Hers will be here for
I'm gonna get
pregame.
Max back. Don't worry about it.
Just wait till 6 o'clock, Max.
Yeah, Max, we'll get you back.
But in the meantime, let's go to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in our friend Teron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter, who is presented by Bart Durham Injury Law and fueled by Parman Energy. Excuse me. Hi, Teron. How are you?
Hey, what's going
Did we lose Teron? I can't hear Teron.
You can't hear me? Hello?
There you go. There you go.
Gotcha.
Loud and clear. Are you and Willie processing this Mets trade I sent you guys
Yes,
yesterday?
I'm still trying to process TD. I mean, you got to love Brandon Nimmo, first round pick, born, come up through the system from the state of Wyoming where they don't have high school ball. Like he's a fan favorite. So that's tough.
Yeah, it's very tough, and it's, to use a Marv Levy phrase, it's inconscionable.
All right, TD. Well, let's talk about
I'd have to root for Marcus Simeon. We'll see.
Let's talk about the local professional football team. The Titans lose 30-24 yesterday against Seattle. But I think we can all agree, whether you are watching the game, whether you're looking at the numbers, you're blending the two, it was Cam Ward's best performance of his young NFL career. Looking solely at QBR, Teron, the past 2 weeks have been Cam Ward's best performances of the season. So over the past couple of weeks, what has really stood out to you about Ward's performance? Where are you seeing the most growth? What's allowing him to seemingly break out over these past couple of weeks?
So for me, it's the decisiveness. And what you saw in this game yesterday was decisiveness in running the football, right? And how many times did you see the Red Sea just part in front of him? And he's like, oh, man. And he took it and went and got it. Those are the things that he didn't do before. There were so many times where like, hey, Cam, run the ball. You've got this huge lane. And he started to do that this time. And it was quick. Like he made his mind up quickly that he was going to get out of the pocket, on a couple times, rather than doing it too late and waiting for the defenders to close in on him. So that's a progression from the quicker passing that he had in the Houston game, which we know was kind of by design, given as though they have those outside pass rushers. So to me, that's the big thing. And the continued progression and key to that, in my opinion, is just finding that comfort level to where he's just out there playing football and doing what he does, executing and making plays. Because this is a guy that it just seems like when he goes off schedule, he's really, really in a comfortable place.
Teron, I did think about you at the end of the game yesterday when I saw the Titans went 5 for 7 on 4th down. I was pleased to see Mike McCoy not be so damn conservative yesterday. Why the change of heart for Mike McCoy?
I don't know, and that's what I was trying to find out, because I'm like, well, did flow of the game this time tell you, what was it? I don't know. It just seemed like I don't know if it was just a belief, what it was, but there was definitely a difference there. That's for sure.
No, TD, I see that as, if you're asking your quarterback to sort of, do whatever it takes to win football games, then you as a head coach has to be the same. And yes. I think Mike McCoy is starting to figure that out. Like, listen, there's no reason for you to hold back. You're not going to get the job because you hold back. Go out there and let these guys play because they want to see development. And you're allowing Cam and his offense to develop in some tough situations. So I think now it's just hopefully moving forward when you have situations like this that he chooses to allow Cam and the offense to grow through it. Even if they don't get the first down, that they are allowed to grow through certain situations.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the whole thing. It's do as I do, right? And if I'm going to ask you to go all out, I need to go all out. And this whole, hey, playing for 3-point stuff, and no. And I do like the fact that, the 4th and 1, they got stuffed early, but they came back and, they went for it on more time. So that is a sign of being willing to go ahead and no risk, no reward. I I can't say what one of my coaches used to say, but it reminds me. The word starts with an N and it rhymes with cut. So he'd be like, no, that word, no glory. And I think that's the situation.
Now, when are we going? Because again, we keep getting these bits and pieces of Tajay Spears, and it's just like, man, this kid can be what this offense is looking for from that respect. When are we going to start? Are we starting to see it more and more with him? Because we wondered about it at the beginning of the year, and he's been hurt, and I know he's battled injury throughout his career, but it seems like now he's in this mode of he's healthy, he's ready to go, and he's being more of a focal point in the offense than what he has been in previous weeks.
Yeah, I think it's just with opportunities. The more of those that arise, the more you're going to see of him. And you're right, he has started to show flashes, and it's being healthy, being out there and in the rotation. I mean, you look at that play. I mean, it wasn't a big game, but the screen that was stopped, and he broke it back across the field. If Nick Rory doesn't track him down and tackle him, hey, that's a big gain. He messed around and get the first down on an opportunity that you really didn't think that they would be able to get it. So, yeah, the explosiveness and everything, you want to see more of that. And I think that is something that we will see more, but he has to get more touches.
Well, Cam got to learn how to get in the way a little bit more. If he get in the way a little bit more, then maybe Tajay can get around there and hit that corner and get a first down. But I don't want my quarterback getting hurt just standing around.
Right, exactly.
Alec, DK. I mean, this kid is just he's been – honestly, we knew Jeffrey Simmons coming in the season. At least I felt that Jeff was going to have a big season, and he has. Jeff has had a big season. But I think DK has been a pleasant surprise, so much so that I think he has been this team's most valuable player. And I get it. I know Jeffrey has been playing his tail off. I get that part. But what he's doing as a rookie, and he wasn't their first receiver drafted, but yet and still he's been quiet and just got the job done. To me, he's quietly been their MVP.
I think he has definitely made a case for that type of conversation. And go no further than yesterday. Look at the energy that the crowd, like his return, it sparked the whole stadium. And I tell you, watching that sideline, it reminded me of back in the day. Now, folks, I'm not comparing him to Derrick Henry, so just shut up and stop. But it reminded me of the energy, the way the stadium used to explode when Derrick Henry made a big play. And I think that tells you right there the level of excitement that he brings.
Teron Davenport is with us. Teron, give me how you see the significance of this stat here. The Titans' strength of schedule, their opponent's record, 623 winning percentage. That is a really high number. The next highest is the Giants at 591. And for perspective, the Bears are 8-3. Their opponent's winning percentage is 365. 10-2 Pats, 348. So Cam Ward is going up against good teams more than any team in the league. So how significant is that for you?
Yeah, I think it's really significant because this means he's getting good opportunities to see defenses and to see it while he's still learning. I think that's great for him. And look, this whole year, it was never about winning or losing. It was about, Ward's development. So anything that will help that is good. And I mean, again, like, it's almost like when you take, it's like learning to swim when you're a kid as opposed to an adult, right? Like, as a rookie quarterback and as a kid, like, you don't know what you don't know. And so you don't have the fears that you may have. So somebody just throws you in the water, you're like, all right, I got to survive. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's going on with him, as opposed to later on in life having to face this adversity and see all this. It's a tougher process. So it's good for him from that matter.
Okay, give me, without all the hoopla, your assessment of Xavier Restrepo's first game.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. It was solid. Let's say that.
He should have had the touchdown. on the first catch.
Yeah, that's
On
one
the
of the
first
ones
one.
where you got to make a play.
You got to
You
make
got to
it.
make a play, man. And you know, when you're in that situation where the opportunities aren't abundant and it comes your way, you got to make it happen. You know, it's one of those, you know, just sense of urgency type of situations. So, yeah. Other than that, I mean, he showed the whole trust and development with Cam Ward, you know, making that 14-yard catch. He went up and jumped up and got it, so that was good. I think overall, solid. A lot more to be desired, and you know, that's not put 87 up there, you know, in the ring of honor yet.
Okay, not going to do that.
I do like the way the kid played. I do. And the only reason I brought up the first one is because you're not going to have many opportunities, you know.
Exactly.
And luckily, you know, they didn't hold that against him, because I know once he go back and look at that film, if he hadn't looked at it already, and he probably saw it on the sideline, like, man, that's one I should have had. And that's one that I know if he gets an opportunity again, that he's going to come up with it based upon what he did after not making that catch. He came up with some big ones.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. It's just one of those ones where you want them to learn how to use your body to yield the defender, right? Slow down just a little bit and give them that little lean, and then go up and get it. You know, and it's something you learn as it goes.
Duran, given the fact that the last two fronts that they played are pretty good defenses, how would you grade the offensive line? Are we seeing a little bit of progress here? Because it does seem like Cam Ward, you mentioned his running ability, and he's getting rid of the ball quicker, so maybe the job is a little bit easier on the O-line. But how do you see their development?
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing progress. Yeah, obviously, 2 weeks ago there was a lot of help and stuff like that, and you know the results show. This past week, Sunday, you know, he was running around and you know, helping out the offensive line. And I think that's the whole thing. It's a unit. You got guys getting open quicker. He's getting the ball out quicker, and the offensive line is playing better too. It's all collective.
Teron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter, has been our guest on D-Mace Fang and Donick. He joins us every Monday. He is presented by Bart Durham Injury Law and fueled by Parman Energy TD. Great stuff as always, my friend. Have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll catch up next week.
All right, for sure. Appreciate you guys.
615-737-1025. Our phone and text lines are driven by Wilson County Hyundai.com. We'll take your reaction to the Titans' loss, but more specifically, Cam Ward's performance against the Seattle Seahawks yesterday at Nissan Stadium. We'll get back into that. We'll touch on Vanderbilt versus Tennessee. We're going to get into that hot and heavy throughout this shortened week for us, but we will take our first look at the matchup between Tennessee and Vanderbilt coming up on Saturday at Neyland Stadium. We'll throw in some Predators in there as well in the 5 o'clock hour. 615-737-1025. We are presented by Bax Homeworks, which transforms kitchens, bathrooms, and living spaces into places you can't wait to come home to. Get a free estimate now at baxhomeworks.com. D. Mace, Vingan, and Donick 1025. The game. Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, and David Janes here with you. We are live at Bridgestone Arena, where the Predators will host the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers tonight. Puck drop at 7, pregame at 6 with Max Hers in 1 hour at 6 p.m. right here on 1025. The game. The Predators were shut out on Saturday against the Colorado Avalanche 3-0. So consecutive shutout losses for the Nashville Predators. To the Predators' credit, they were dominant in the first period. Unfortunately, they were unable to score. So it's now 2 consecutive games that the Predators have been shut out. It's only happened 1 time in franchise history that the Predators have been shut out in 3 consecutive games, and that happened almost exactly 10 years ago in November of 2015. So the Predators will look to score a goal for the first time in a little bit tonight against the Florida Panthers. We have not talked about Chim Dike today, Derek. You did ask Teron Davenport about Dike in the previous segment, but Chim Dike, a 90-yard punt return touchdown, 2 punt return touchdowns for Dike today, or excuse me, this season. If it was today, that would be great. But for this season, and keep in mind that before Dike had his first punt return touchdown, it had been nearly 13 years since the Tennessee Titans had had a punt return touchdown. Darius Raynaud had 2 punt return touchdowns in the same game. I'm looking at the list, by the way, here, Derek, of punt return touchdowns by the Tennessee Titans. So DK has 2, the most recent. Darius Raynaud had 2 punt return touchdowns in the same game, December 30th, 2012. Before that, Tommy Campbell with a punt return touchdown on September 23rd, 2012. Then you have to go back to Mark Mariani in 2011 and 2010. So it's been a long time since the Titans have had a punt returner who is as dynamic as DK. And you heard Teron in the previous segment say, Derek, how it just brought so much energy to the sideline and the stadium to see DK break one off. And we'll see what kind of all-around receiver DK becomes. But having that weapon in your arsenal, you know full well, Derek, having that weapon in your arsenal, having a player who can return a touchdown like that is a huge positive for the Titans.
Yeah, it is. It's TD talked about it. He was at the game. He saw how engaged the sideline, the fans were on that return. Hell, I was engaged and I was at home jumping up and down. I get excited watching DK play because he's a guy at any minute. He has the ability to make a big play. He's a big play waiting to happen. And it's unassuming with him because it doesn't look like he's running fast, but he's running fast. It doesn't look as if he's going to be physical, but he's running through tackles. He's doing all these things that I don't think people, expected of him this season. I'm not going to say they didn't expect it at all, but especially not this season. But he has quietly become, and I said it to TD. I think outside of Jeffrey Simmons, and it's no slight to the veterans that are on that team, but outside of Jeffrey Simmons, you would have to say he's been one of the brightest spots, if not the brightest spot on the team this season. And it makes me happy because I see a kid that was drafted late. Didn't nobody think much of him or expect a lot of him when he came in. And what he has done is just worked. And when he's gotten his opportunities, he's made the best of his opportunities. And what comes with that is more opportunities. And you can see it. Now they're giving him the ball more on offense. He should be the number 1 option for the Tennessee Titans when it comes to offense. He needs to be. He needs a guy. In this game, yeah, you got to have a good scheme. But you got to build it around your players. But it's about players. It's not necessarily about plays. DK slowly is becoming the player, that player. He leads the NFL in all-purpose yards. That's a big thing. You know why? I know it's a big thing because I've done it before. I've done it twice. This kid has done nothing but go out there and has been nothing but a positive for the Tennessee Titans. So the Titans should, moving forward, he should be more in their offensive game planning, not a sidebar. He needs to be one of the main guys, if not the main guy. Why? Because he can do multiple things.
DK had 5 receptions for 44 yards and a touchdown, plus the punt return touchdown. As you said, Derek, Chim DK leads the NFL with 1,760 all-purpose yards. Second, Jonathan Taylor, 1,465. Christian McCaffrey, 1,439. Bijan Robinson, 1,396. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 1,350. I would love your opinion on Jackson Smith and Jigba because he's already set a Seattle Seahawks receiving record. And there are still, 6 weeks left in the season?
Yeah.
That was an incredible touchdown catch he had.
He pushed off a little bit.
Okay. Well, you know what?
But hey, they didn't call it.
But you know what, Derek? You know this full well. When you're playing well,
yeah,
they'll let you get away with just a little bit.
They will.
When you are one of the top receivers in the NFL, they'll let you push off a little bit. But I would love your opinion on Jackson Smith and Jigba, what you saw from him yesterday.
If you're building and see Ohio State, there's two, when you start talking about receivers, Ohio State, University of Miami, Alabama, Oklahoma has had their share of wide receivers that have come out. LSU has had their share. Most recently, it has been LSU, and they reign supreme. You look at elite neighbors, Jefferson, Chase, those guys. I mean, come on. So much you can say about those guys. They're wonderful players. But when I look at Jackson Smith and Jigba, he's everything. And I'm not even talking about the height in them, because I think he's about 5'11", 6 foot maybe. So I'm not talking about the height and the speed. I don't even know what he ran in a 40. I think he may have ran a 4.3, 4.4. I don't know.
He's listed at 6 feet, 197 pounds.
He's about 5'11", which it doesn't matter. And I'm not sure if he ran a fast 40 or not. I don't know. But when I look at Jackson Smith and Jigba, when you are putting together like a wide receiver, don't put in the height and weight yet. Don't put in the height. What did he run?
He did not run the 40 at the scouting combine.
Okay. Take away the height and weight. Take away the speed. Take away those 3 things. They're big, but just take away those 3 things. When you're talking about a prototypical like number 1 dynamic receiver, and I'm not saying he's the only person with this, because I think Chase has it. I think Jefferson has it. There are other guys. I think Harrison has it. So there are young guys that I believe like. But when you look at Olave, when you look at Jackson Smith and Jigba, he does everything really well. Like everything. It's not like, okay, he does this really well, but he kind of, he's okay. No, he does everything really damn well. Put him in the slot, he plays that well. Put him outside, he plays that well. He knows spacing, he knows body control, he makes those combative catches. He understands spacing on the field. This kid, if you wouldn't have known it, you would have thought this kid had been in the NFL for about 9 years. Because that's just how mature his game is. Barring injury, this kid is going to be like Chase and Jefferson and those guys. He's going to put up a bunch of numbers. He's going to be one of the, if not the best receiver in the game. He may end up this year being the best receiver in the game based upon numbers. But it's going to come a point where he's going to be the best receiver because of his consistency if he stays healthy. But this kid, everything you want to receive, all these check boxes that scouts look at, he possesses every one of them, and he does it really damn well.
Let's talk about the receiver on the Tennessee Titans who had the most attention yesterday. That being Xavier Restrepo. May I just pat myself on the back for predicting that he would be active and make a catch. He made 2 on 6 targets.
Or 3, but they called one back.
They did call one back on holding on Ali Udo. But look, it's great that he got out there. You said it to TD. His first NFL target in the end zone was unable to bring it down. That would have been a Hallmark moment. I know you love Hallmark movies, Derek Mason. That would have been a Hallmark moment.
Oh, definitely.
Had Xavier Restrepo on his first NFL target hauled in a touchdown on a contested catch. But that's not what happened. He had 2 catches on 6 targets. His first catch came on that play from Cam Ward. He evaded the pressure. He was running out of bounds. He threw it across his body over the middle. Restrepo was right there. Fans were going nuts. Willie claims that it's all fake love on the internet for Xavier Restrepo.
High
And I
school
think
love.
yes. And look, as I said earlier, I found real love on the internet. I met my wife on the dating app. So I found real love on the internet.
So you can find true love.
Exactly. It does exist. It does exist. But it's important, as I always say, to keep these things in perspective. It's great that Xavier Restrepo got out there finally. He played as well as I would have imagined him playing. He made a couple of catches. He has limitations. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be out there in every other game this season. Why the hell not? But again, let's just not get overly excited because he does have limitations, right? He's relatively undersized. He's not the fastest.
No.
There was a funny moment on the broadcast. I believe it was right after he made that first catch, and they showed a graphic of the top receivers in Miami history by receiving yards. And I can't recall off the top of my head who the color commentator was for the game yesterday. But he said, yeah, I didn't even realize that until yesterday. Moose Johnston. Okay. When we were doing our research. So it's great. One texter said, I love this. One texter says, I think it's awesome for Cam to have Restrepo on the field. It's kind of like going to the bar with your buddy. You don't have to stay together, but you got to know where he's at in case the S hits the fan.
Oh yeah. I like that analogy.
And that's what sort of happened on that play that led to his first catch. Cam Ward, he was running around. Defender was bearing down on him. He was running out of real estate. He's like, I know Restrepo's out there somewhere.
He just threw it in the middle of the field. And there's Strep.
There he was.
Caught the Strep. No, but I think, and we talked about this on the pregame show with Big Joe and Chris. That and Big Joe was asking a question about Restrepo, and I'm sure Big Joe is extremely excited because, like you know, he was hoping and wishing for big things for Restrepo in this game, and Restrepo got in. And my thing was, listen, regardless if he catch a football or not, if he goes out there and prove to them he deserves to play, then they need to play him again. If he's doing exactly what they asked him to do, but he didn't catch a ball, say it didn't come his way, you shouldn't penalize him for that. If he's done those things, then play him some more. See what happens. But he did make a play. He did make 2. He had 3 catches. 1 got taken back. But he did those things that you were asking him to do. You gave him a little responsibility. What did he do? He was responsible with it. So next week, you need to give him a little bit more. And again, he's not going to be your number 1 or your number 2. He can be a 3. He can be a 4. What I love about this kid, he's just a football player. That's what I love about him. That's why a guy like him, I will always root for. Do I think he can believe? Do I believe he can be a number 1 in this league? No. Do I think he could be a number 2? Probably not. But I think he can work his way up to being a number 3 and to have a long career in this league. Why? Because he's those guys that the NFL loves. He's just a football player, and he's going to go out and do whatever it takes. He's going to be smart, intelligent, and do the things that he needs to do to make sure that he's ready. He just was told Friday that he was going to be up. By Sunday, he was catching his first pass. 2 of them. Matter of fact, 3. Another one's holding him. But he settled in. He settled into the game. The game wasn't bigger than him. Once he got that first catch, he was like, I'm in college again. I'm in college. Now I can go out here and play. And he showed that catch down the middle of the field. That was a hard catch to make. But he made it. To me, the kid's just a football player, and he's proven that he deserves more time out there. He doesn't need to be, you're hurt. Okay, no, he's a guy that, no, you find the space for him. I've heard coaches say that. If you prove to us you can play, we're going to find a space for you. Well, Restrepo has proved to you he can play. Find a space for him.
Let's go to Dustin in Hopkinsville on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHunted.com. Dustin, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Good evening, guys. D. Mason, everything you're saying is exactly what I think about him. And what I said is worst case scenario that anybody could say is he gets another game. You know, he didn't solidify anything other than he gets another game. And what I see more than anything, the guy was getting open. Yeah, Ham was trying to feed him on that one, and he did. All right. Now, one was called back, and then they held him. It was obviously a hold. It wasn't a terrible hold, but it was a hold. If he'd have pulled that dang ball in, like I said, man, I think you throw it to him 10 times, he catches it 6. The kid's got dog in him, and like you said, he's the player that everybody loves. He's just not going to quit on you. In fact, when you try to push him down, you're just feeding a fuel. He's just that type of player. I think he's going to be famous in Nashville. I'm not looking for a number 1 receiver in Restrepo. I'm not looking for a number 2. I'm looking for a good slot receiver that's dependable. And, buddy, he outworks his size. You know, and I'm going to say a quarterback's name, Tom Brady. He got a lot out of people that lack size, and we thought ability. But if you do it, well, I'll be dang. That shows you have the ability. I think Restrepo is going to be a nice little piece, and he can play in the rest of the season and say, bye, Mason Kinsey. Because one thing I know is a fact. 3 things: death, taxes, and Mason Kinsey making his practice squad. We need to cut that last one.
Thank you for the call, Dustin.
Thank you.
And, and I agree with Dustin. It's okay to be excited about Xavier Restrepo, while also understanding that he's never going to be a premier wide receiver in the NFL. At best, he's probably a complementary player. And teams need complementary players. So as long as you keep that in mind as you're watching Xavier Restrepo, go nuts. I have no issue with people being excited about Xavier Restrepo.
Catch the strep.
Well, I think I've been vaccinated, but I did say to you and Willie, did your throats get a little bit sore on Sunday when you were watching the game when Xavier Restrepo made the catch? 615-737-1025, if I can spit the phone number out. 615-737-1025. There you go. We'll continue to take your reaction on the Titans' loss to the Seahawks, Cam Ward's performance, Xavier Restrepo, Chim Dike. It's all on the table. We'll also look ahead for the first time. Tennessee, Vanderbilt on Saturday at Neyland Stadium. We're going to get into that matchup throughout the week, but we'll start in the next segment. Also, I do want to make sure that y'all are listening because we do have a giveaway this hour. We have a 4-pack of tickets to see AEW Dynamite in Collision on Wednesday, this Wednesday, 2 days from now. If you want a 4-pack of tickets to see AEW Dynamite in Collision on Wednesday at the Pinnacle downtown, be listening for the cue to call in the next segment. So keep that in mind. 615-737-1025. Derek Mason and Adam Vingan. We are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. D-Mace, Vingen, and Donick 102.5. The Game. Derek Mason, Adam Vingen. Max Hers wants me to remind you that tonight is basketball night. Predators and Panthers. The first 5,000 fans receive a Nashville Predators basketball jersey. All fans can also enjoy 50% off beer. And who
50% off
doesn't
beer.
love beer? Michelob only?
Michelob
Okay,
only.
50% off Michelob only. So.
Michelob.
Michelob. Yes.
Michelob. I've never had a Michelob in my life.
No?
Never.
I'm not really much of a beer
Doesn't
guy.
it tastes like, I'm not going to say that because then all the beer drinkers out there, no, you don't know what you're talking about. All beers don't taste the same. Which you probably right.
What accent is that?
I don't know. I just
That's got to be one of those Midwestern accents. or something.
I didn't want to tie it down to no one particular genre or anything, ethnicity, so I kind of just said
just keeping it ambiguous. That's
exactly,
okay.
Absolutely.
Continuing our conversation on Xavier Restrepo. Brett and Franklin says, can Restrepo be Julian Edelman? And look, I love Julian Edelman. He's a member of the tribe. Max Hers, he knows what I'm talking about. And Julian Edelman had a fantastic career. He was also an undrafted free agent who had a hell of a career, multiple-time Super Bowl champion, a Super Bowl MVP as well. So I think it's asking a lot, Brett and Franklin, for Xavier Restrepo to be the next Julian Edelman.
Listen, if they surround this quarterback with more good players, he can have a role that can wind up being similar to that of a Julian Edelman. Not to say that he will catch 100 passes or anything else. What I'm saying is that he will become a part of an offense that's building. And thank goodness for him that he's sort of in on the ground level, because there's not like 4 or 5 proven guys ahead of him or 3 or 4 proven guys. You have one guy in Calvin Ridley, and he's hurt. The other guys are rookies just like you. So your gauntlet isn't as full or filled with veteran guys ahead of you. But you do got to continue to work. So, yesterday was a start for him. Still has a long way to go, a very long way. He barely even stepped on the field or put his toe in the water. He still has a long way to go, but I am excited about what I saw from the mere fact of him not knowing if he was going to play or not, but then they're making him active. But even if you're active, that doesn't mean you're going to actually be a part of the game. And he got in the game. He was a part of the game. He made some catches. So that I am encouraged by. He's earned his right to have another opportunity.
Cam Ward had his best performance of his young NFL career, and the numbers weren't eye-popping. 28 of 42 passing for 256 yards and a touchdown. He was sacked 4 times. He also ran the ball 6 times for 37 yards and a touchdown. By the way, in the past 2 weeks, Cam Ward 9 carries for 70 yards. So that's becoming a part of his arsenal. Highest QBR of the season, previous high was last week against the Houston Texans. So the past 2 weeks, his best 2 performances solely based on QBR. So it looks like Cam Ward is beginning to break out. As I said, context. He did not throw for 450 yards and 4 touchdowns, but we're starting to see him become more comfortable doing things that we wanted him to do, namely scrambling, looking for opportunities to pick up first downs with his legs, scrambling to make throws. He did that multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. He's developing with an offense that's changed somewhat. And I'm not saying it changed from the standpoint of verbiage or anything like that, or just the plays. It hasn't changed, but the way they are calling games, the way that Bo Hardigree is calling games, the things that they're doing, I think has changed for Cam Ward. I think he's settling in and feeling more and more comfortable with Bo Hardigree and the way he likes to call plays. The ball is out of his hands a lot quicker. He's a little bit more decisive. Does he still have things to work on? Absolutely, he does. But I think he is proving that each and every week he's going to get a little bit better. Again, better may not equal win, but better does equal or mean that as he gets better, ultimately the team gets better, and the less they have to worry about that position. Because if they end the season, because this kid has, I think he's on pace to have over 3,000 yards and more touchdowns than interceptions. If he can get his completion rate up, his QBR, if he can get that up, like you said, as long as he doesn't finish at the bottom,
Yes.
if he can start moving up slowly by the end of the season, I think they will have a good idea on who they believe who he is and can be, and what they need to surround him with.
Caleb on our text line in reaction to Brett and Franklin's text. Good God, 2 catches, and we're texting in asking that. And this is sort of the beauty of Xavier Restrepo. He generates these incredible reactions on completely opposite ends of the spectrum. And look, I'm thinking about what we were talking about earlier as I opened the show. We here in Nashville are home to the NFL's worst team and the NHL's worst team. Not a great place to be.
Not at all.
But the Titans, you've got Cam Ward, you've got Chimdike, you've got Gunnar Helm, you've got players on the defensive side of the ball too, young players who appear to be maturing in front of our eyes. They're not blowing us away by any stretch of the imagination, with the exception of DK on punt returns. They're not blowing us away, but you can watch the Titans, and maybe if you squint hard enough, you can see the outline of what that next core group could be. You know, the Predators are in a different spot. There are young players on the team, sure. And Barry Trotz, who, by the way, will join us tomorrow at 5 o'clock, as he does every week. Barry Trotz is talking about building the new core. To me, at least, Derek, I feel like the new core, quote unquote, for the Titans is easier to see right now than it is for the Predators. So despite the teams being in this position, worse teams in their respective leagues, I think at least the Titans are showing you, hey, we've got some young players. Maybe they can be something.
It's like you've ever sat or stood like on the ocean shoreline, you're on the beach, and you see that it may be a tanker, but it's so far out that you just see like the outline and the glimmer. You don't know quite. It's like, okay, that's where the Titans are now. They are so far from where they want to be, but you're starting to see little glimmers of it. Like, okay, I see it may be this, or it could, but I do see an outline of something, and it looks like it's coming a little bit closer. It may take some time, but it's going to come closer, and we're going to realize what it is. That's what I think you're seeing from Cam. I think that's what you're seeing from DK, Gunnar Helm, this whole young nucleus, even on defense. You see it, but it's so far away right now that it's hard to really focus in on it and know what it actually looks like. This team still has a ways to go, but I am starting to see some of the outline, and the outline is Cam, DK, Sweat, Alec, Gunnar, Skoronsky, guys like that are starting to show up.
Maybe Kevin Winston,
yeah, guys like that are showing up somewhat. Jeffrey's always showed up, so okay, but eventually, I think the more and more you start to surround him with, the closer and closer that vision of what you want it to look like is going to become clear, and I think everybody's going to see it. Hopefully, it's what I envision it can be. Hopefully, once it comes all together, it's what I envision.
By the way, Cam Ward's 17-game projection for passing yards, 3,415.
Okay.
With 11 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. That's what he's on pace for over a 17-game average. Craig on our text line says, Derek, with Jim DK showing he can be a capable return man, is there any advice you would give him going forward on how to be this reliable year in and year out?
Keep doing what you're doing. Never. Okay, one thing I will say to him is this. Don't neglect your special teams responsibility when you start to get more responsibilities on offense.
Okay.
Don't do it, because special teams is what got you here. It's what got you here. And the only reason is because they took me off. They took me off. Alan Lowry, all of Jeff Fisher, they took me off because I was so important to the offense. So they took me off for special teams because they had Justin McCarron, guys that could return. So they segued me out of returning. It was like, we'll let you return if we need something or we need a catch. You can return. But had they not done that, had they not removed me from it, I would have shown the same type of attention as a returner. I would have showed that same attention I did when I first got that job. No matter if I was the first receiver, the number one receiver or not, I was still going to show special teams the attention that it needed, because I understood the reason that I'm standing in this spot is because I proved to them on special teams I can make plays. So my advice to DK is continue to be intentional with your special teams, no matter how many opportunities they're going to give you offensively. Do what you need to do offensively and put the energy toward that, but don't neglect the special teams.
615-737-1025. We'll take your thoughts on the Titans, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, the Predators, you name it. It's on the table. 615-737-1025. All right. I promised a giveaway, so here it is. If you want a 4-pack of tickets to AEW Dynamite and Collision at the Pinnacle this Wednesday, 2 days from now, November 26th, be caller number 4 at 615-737-1025. You will win a pair of tickets to see AEW Dynamite Thanksgiving Eve and Collision at the Pinnacle on Wednesday, November 26th. I'll be there. You can be too. 615, caller number 4, 615-737-1025. We'll wrap up the show next. Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game. It's Vingan and Donick 102.5. The game. Adam Vingan, Derek Mason here with you, sporting his Smashville basketball jersey.
Exactly. I said with this number right here, I'm getting a tech and I'm getting thrown out of the game.
Number 98.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman, man. Come on now.
Well, he was 91.
Yeah, you're right. He was 91.
Yeah.
He'll still get thrown out.
I'm still gonna throw him out. I'm close enough.
If you're wearing a number in the 90s, you're probably due to get a technical foul.
You're due to get a technical.
But Derek is foregoing 85 to wear number 98.
Exactly. I'm supporting the Preds, man. Come on.
The
man.
Predators are back in action tonight at 7 o'clock against the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers.
But you know what they look like? Indiana jerseys. The Pacers.
The ones you're wearing? Yeah.
Yeah, the Pacers.
It's got the gold and the pinstripes.
The stripes. Yeah. I'm a Detroit guy and the Laker guy.
But the Preds on the jersey
Yeah,
is
but
giving
it's good.
it's giving me Grizzlies vibes.
Oh,
a little bit.
you're right. Yeah.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's giving me some
I like
Grizzlies
it, though.
vibes,
I like
so-
it. Got
Well,
the Nashville colors.
I see a lot of Predators fans wearing their Smashville basketball jerseys tonight. The Predators, again, back in action at 7 o'clock
Everybody's
against the
98.
Florida Panthers. The Predators have been shut out in consecutive games. They lost 3-0 to the Colorado Avalanche on Saturday. They lost 4-0 against the Penguins a week or so ago in Sweden. So the Predators looking to avoid being shut out in 3 consecutive games for the second time in franchise history, for the first time in almost exactly 10 years. So the Predators will look to actually score a goal tonight against the Florida Panthers. And if you just missed out on winning those AEW tickets to Dynamite and Collision, we do have more tickets to give away tomorrow. So be listening tomorrow for your chance to win tickets to see AEW Dynamite in Collision Wednesday at the Pinnacle, not too far from here. We're at Bridgestone Arena. Zach on our text line says, I see Cam Ward, Gunnar Helm, and Chim Dike to potentially be the modern-day McNair, Wycheck, and D-Mace. Now we need our Eddie George, and they will be on the right track. Look, I am not going to be one to stomp on all of your optimism. I think it's great. We could all afford to be more optimistic about life. I certainly could. I am a cynical person by nature. Let's crawl before we walk, or walk before we run. So it sounds great that Ward, Helm, and DK could be the next McNair, Wycheck, and Derek, but let's pump the brakes for now. This team is still 1-10. The Titans are 1-10 or worse for the first time since 1994. So it's a nice thought. Let's, again, as I always say, this should be my catchphrase. Keep things in perspective.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they are a long way from even mentioning that. But I get, what the texter is envisioning. And if they can get to that point, then it's going to be great for this organization. But I want them to be better than that, because ultimately, if you're better than that, you put yourself in a position to win a Super Bowl. So, DK, Gunnar, Cam, Alec, those guys that are growing with this offense. If you envision, if that's what you envision, and I understand why you do it, because who wouldn't want to see that again? But these guys are a long way from that. Steve, myself, and Frankie, we were not, it wasn't put together overnight. It took years for that whole combination to come together where it was prosperous for the team. Steve and Eddie were a little bit ahead of me. Steve and Frank was a little bit ahead of me. And then once I finally got my opportunity, we, along with Eddie, we became, a foursome. Whether it's Frankie making the tough catches or myself doing what I needed to do offensively or in special teams, and Eddie, we know what he was about, and then Steve. So I hope they do get to that point where, it's resembling more of Eddie, Steve, myself, Frank than not. Because if it does, then that means you have a good nucleus of players. You got to, you have something really, truly to build on if those guys turn out to be that.
Zach chimes back in and says, keyword potentially. You're right,
Yes.
Zach. Keyword is potentially. Derek, you mentioned this to me during the break. A couple of weeks ago, Jamar Chase suspended by the NFL for spitting on Jalen Ramsey. You have brought to my attention that Colorado State has suspended a couple of players for the team season finale after spitting on players on Boise State over the weekend. I'm not sure where the spitting on people thing is coming from, but it has you hot under the collar.
Yeah, it does. It's like that's just a lack of respect. Didn't your parents teach you better in every in any incident? And what's so bad about this is that listen, they're not kids. These are grown people. You know, they're 18, 19 years old, 20, and Jamar Chase, you even older than that. Where have we lost the respect? Where has that, like, when did that become a thing where you can just totally disrespect your opponent and spit on your opponent and do all some of these crazy things that individuals find themselves doing in the realm of competition? When has that been okay? Because again, these things y'all are doing on the playing field, you ain't gonna do that to nobody out in the real world. You spit on somebody in the real world, you're going to jail. You are. I just don't get where to me, the NFL should come up with a rule. If you spit on anybody, 2 games, mandatory. You ain't even got time to, appeal it. 2 games, you're gone. College, same thing. You spit on, because that is a deliberate act. You knew exactly what you were doing when you did it. That ain't something in the heat of the moment. It just happened. No, you spit a loogie right at somebody, and you did it on purpose. So you know what? On purpose, we're going to suspend your ass for 2 games. There you go. Have it that.
In a couple of weeks, we are headed on a collision course. If things continue to go the way they are going, in 2 weeks, Cam Ward versus Shedeur Sanders when the Titans visit the Browns December 7th. Shedeur Sanders in his first NFL start, 11 of 20 for 209 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Sanders became the 42nd quarterback to start for the Browns since 1999, but he also became the first Cleveland quarterback to win his first NFL start since Eric Zaire in 1995. The victory ended a 17-game losing streak for the Browns in games with a quarterback making his first career start. That was the longest streak by any franchise since 1950 when quarterback starts were first recorded. Did you have a chance to catch up on Shedeur Sanders' first career?
Yes, I did.
What'd you think?
I wanted to see it. I was excited for the young man, and I think I saw exactly what I thought I was going to see. Up and down play. He made a great throw, and then the defense fooled him, and he threw right into a zone blitz. So those are things that he needs to learn. And like any other quarterback, I saw exactly what more than likely I knew I was going to see. Inconsistency. But, hey, he has another week. I think he's going to be the starter this week.
He is. He's already been named the starter.
Yeah, so he has another
week. 49ers.
He has another week to get better. But yesterday was typical of a rookie. He made some good plays, but then he made some bad ones.
An interesting Monday night football game tonight. Panthers at 49ers. The 6-5 Panthers. We talked about the Panthers last week in Bryce Young against the 7-4 49ers. There's, of course, the Christian McCaffrey thread in all of this. So what do you make of this matchup tonight between the Panthers and the 49ers?
It's going to be a good matchup. The Panthers are clinging to a playoff spot, I believe. Still, is San Fran in the hunt too? I think they are as well.
Yes, they're 7-4.
So you got 2 teams that are in the hunt in the NFC for a playoff spot. So Carolina doesn't seem like they're better on paper when you talk about the statistics, but they're winning football games. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're winning football games. So when you're going against a team, in San Fran, that are dealing with their own problems with their wide receiver Ayuk. They got some injuries that they're dealing with as well. So, but the bright spot has been Mac Jones for them. Now, is Purdy back? I'm not sure if Purdy back. Is he back yet or not?
I'm not sure.
But I think both teams are dealing with their own issues. I think Carolina has been a surprise to a lot of people. And in San Francisco, they're just dealing with things that they've been dealing with for the last couple of years, injuries.
The 49ers are 7th in the NFC at 7-4. The Panthers are 9th at 6-5.
So this is a playoff game, a playoff positioning game.
Yes,
you know?
a de facto playoff game. Joey from Bellevue on our text line says, there is a great chance that Myles Garrett will set the all-time sack record against the Titans. He has 18 now.
Man,
the record is 22 and a half.
I'm telling you, man. Listen, I had the opportunity and the pleasure to watch Reggie White up close and personal when he was in Green Bay. And everybody knew Reggie was, a stud. He may have been just as well the greatest defensive end ever. This Myles Garrett dude, if you're not putting 3 people on him, you got a problem. You ain't doing you need to be fired. This dude has proven like you can't block me with 1 guy. That's just ridiculous. 2 guys, it's really, you're at a disadvantage still. Even with 3 guys, it's like, I still give Myles Garrett a 45% chance at winning against 3 people. And that's bad. This guy is just he proved to me these last, he has, in 3 weeks, I think he has 12 sacks, if I'm not mistaken. This dude, we're seeing something we've never seen before. And I've seen a lot of great players come through this league. But what he is doing this season, Myles Garrett, man, he's unstoppable. He's completely, there's nobody that can block him.
Past 4 games for Myles Garrett. He had 5 sacks.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Last week,
5 sacks against the Patriots.
He had 3 against Baltimore.
Yeah. So the past 4 games, oldest to newest. 5 sacks against the Patriots, 1 sack against the Jets, 4 against the Ravens, 3 against the Raiders yesterday.
He's unstoppable. When you say a guy's in a zone, he's in the zone. And there's nobody that can stop him. There's nobody that can stop him. The guy's just, I saw him bend, like get low to the ground on one play. I'm like, how can a guy 6'6", 300 and something pounds get that low to the ground?
He is a monster of a man. I believe he has 0.1% body fat, and that might be an overestimation. But
that's somebody you see in the alley, and you just say, "Hey, man, let's just be friends."
Multiple people have pointed out that Brock Purdy did come back last week. So
all right.
I apologize to all of our 49ers watching listeners out there, but we'll see what sort of havoc Myles Garrett could wreak on the Titans in a couple of weeks.
Oh, my goodness.
The Titans do have another game to play before that. They host the Jaguars this week at Nissan Stadium before going to Cleveland a week from Sunday. But just we heard it already today, but the Cam versus Shador, it was a big talking point during the lead up to the draft process. Especially if Shador Sanders wins his start against the 49ers this week, it has more starting wins than Cam Ward does, assuming the Titans lose to the Jags. We'll be here at all next week. They made the wrong choice. A lot of teams passed up on Shador Sanders, so it's not like they chose Cam.
Cleveland passed up on him, 5 times?
Multiple times. They drafted another quarterback before they drafted him. So I can't get too worked up about it. But the Predators are back in action tonight against the Florida Panthers. They lost 3-0 to the Avalanche on Saturday. Consecutive shutout losses for the Predators going back to the second game in Sweden against the Penguins. The Predators have not been shut out in 3 consecutive games in basically 10 years.
Let's go, Preds.
So
Let's go.
We'll see if the Predators can actually score tonight against the Florida Panthers. We will be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Trevor Maddich will join us at 4:20. Barry Trotz, Predators GM, will join us at 5 o'clock. We will get more into Vanderbilt's gigantic matchup against Tennessee on the weekend. And there's already been some fighting within our text line. So we'll see if we can bring it to the phone lines tomorrow as well. Max Hers has Predators pregame for you coming up next right here on 102.5 The Game.
Be loved on your people. Have a safe, blessed, and wonderful Monday. I love you. The team loves you. You hear that music. Don't you forget about us, because we will not forget about you. We'll be back tomorrow, 3 p.m., 102.5 The Game. Peace.